Welcome to Bustin' Sticks. In this first episode, we're going to talk about our anglers, our tournament format, and get you acquainted with us. So sit back, grab a pot of coffee. This is Bustin' Sticks. You know, we've been asked, why did we put together Bustin' Sticks? You had a really cool idea. I was driving down the road one day, you give me a call and you say, hey Todd, I got an idea. Would you be willing to help me host a show? And I said, well, what do you got, Mike?
It was just an idea. Hey, let's take the local anglers, let's throw them on a lake one-on-one, match fish against each other, build a bracket, send them through the bracket, find out who's the best for that given bracket or this given season angler in Southeast Michigan.
I was telling you, it was so weird because you and I had just had a talk about something else, another program that we were thinking about doing. And I think this kind of came off of that idea in your head, and I never know what's going to come out of your head. So.
A lot of people have said that. They just, I had an attorney ask me once, what's it like to be Michael Ray? And I said, it's just like being you. He goes, no, there's no.
If he would have asked me, I would have told him it's pretty scary.
It can be at times. But somebody had mentioned they could beat Todd Glover anytime, anywhere on a lake.
Not real tough.
And I was driving home and it hit me, let's do some match fishing then. Let's pull the guys in, you know, one-on-one. Since I'm into video, let's make it a TV show.
Well, it's what you love to do.
It is. So I called you up. I said, hey, let's do this TV show. I got an idea. Let's do this. Here's the format.
And you know, you picked some great anglers for season one. I fished against a lot of these guys, both on St. Clair and on in some of the inland lakes. All of them very good sticks, some of them young and upcoming. And I think what we expected out of Bustin' Sticks, we got a little twist to it, and it was kind of fun. I think the format was part of the twist.
The format was a little more difficult, I think, than what I originally had thought it was going to be. It's all mental. Fishing is a lot of a mental game. Well, I really stepped up the mental aspect of the game. Big time.
I know when you gave me the original thoughts on the format, I thought, Mike, I'm not really sure this is going to work. That's really, really, really a tough format. And then the more you talked to me about it, the more excited I got about it. And I thought, you know what? Screw it. Let's have a tough format. Let's put these guys in a situation that they've never been put in before.
Exactly. Never been in it.
Let's see who the best is.
Bring them out. Never been in it.
Absolutely.
Throw them on there and just see what happens. We picked our first 8 anglers basically by hand. They're all very strong anglers, but we also stretched the gamut. We have a veteran. I mean, he was fishing the top 100 way back, not way back. Sorry, Chris. And then we have a young kid, Garrett, 17. Big water anglers, small water anglers.
Absolutely.
Veterans, new up-and-coming young guns, and then quite a few in the middle. So we just kind of, you know, massaged it.
And you know what? And like you said, nobody else was doing anything for our anglers in our area.
Right.
We've got some other great outdoor shows here in Michigan, but we want to do something for our bass anglers, our guys.
As a bass angler, competitive bass angler, we want to see that stage. A lot of us won't see that. The facts of life are we don't have the money to fish it. The facts are we're not good enough to fish the pro level. We think we are, but we're not. So let's just do something fun. Let's do something exciting, but let's really mash it up, twist it up, and throw them out there and just see what happens.
You know what? I think we did that.
With that, I'll tell you what, let's get in. When we get back, we're going to take a look at the format, how it's set up, and what the rules are to the game. So we'll be back in a minute. We'll take a look at all of that for you.
Tim Hine, rawfish.com. I just want to take a minute and talk about my drop shot setup. Not specifically brand, but more length and action of the rod, reel size, and the line I use. So what I've got in my hand right here is a 7.2 medium heavy action rod with an extra fast tip. What does that mean? Well, basically the medium heavy is going to give me enough backbone when I'm drop shotting in, say, 40 to 50 feet to really get that hook into those fish confidently. Extra fast tip, is going to allow me to feel those soft bites that we get in the spring and fall. But also it's nice to have a softer tip, because when you go to make a fist and you want to give your drop shot bait a little extra action, you can just ever so slightly shake your rod and that rod tip will move and create a lot of action for that bait. When it comes to the actual reel, I use a 1000 series reel. Now some manufacturers have 100 series, but ultimately I go for the smaller size reel. Reason being, if you're drop shotting all day, you don't need a big heavy 25 or 3000 series reel. It's just going to eliminate fatigue if you move down to the smaller series. The line that I choose is usually 10-pound fluorocarbon, but it depends on the situation. Early in the spring or late in the season, I'll even go down to 8 or 6 pound. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll spool up with 8 or 6 pound up until my barrel swivel, which I add because it eliminates line twists. And then my leader, from down to my hook and to my weight, I'll throw on 10 pound. So if I've got 8 or 6 on here and then 10 here, that'll help me with snags and line breakage. The Rod Glove offers full protection for your rods during transport and while in storage. The high-quality, flexible, and UV-resistant material has a high thread count and protects your rod guides and blanks, so you can be confident next time you set the hook. Our tapered tip that comes standard on every Rod Glove offers a solution for easy in and out of your rod locker. Rod Gloves are available in a wide array of colors and come in both casting and spinning models. You'll be sure to find a Rod Glove for every one of your rods, as we offer 3 different lengths for both casting and spinning and cover rods between 5 feet all the way up to 8 feet in length. For more information on casting and spinning lengths or for full color selection, visit therodglove.com.
All right, this is how the game works. You either hook up or you shut up. We took 2 anglers, put them on a given body of water in a one-on-one match. The winners moving on to the next round, the losers shutting up and going home. They have 4 hours to catch 5 legal bass, 14 inches long.
With very few rules in place, but that's the name of the game. First one, sportsmanship. We all know sportsmanship. Let's practice sportsmanship out there. Number 2, we have no nets. We have no live bait and no Alabama rigs. That's the extent of the rule.
Mike, I've asked you this before, and I'd like our viewers to hear this. Why is it that you chose no Alabama rigs?
I don't like what the A-rig does to the fish when the fish are caught. You know, the A-rig's supposed to imitate, I believe, a school of fish. So they'll come in and they'll try to hit it. Well, I've seen pictures, a lot of pictures, gill hooked, tail hooked, hooked in the side.
From all the different hooks.
Yeah, from all the different hooks, or just all over this bass. It ain't fair to the fish. I don't think it's very sportsmanlike anyways, but I just don't like what it does to the fish. And guess what?
It's your show, it's your rules.
That's right. You want to play the game, you play by my rules.
I got it.
1 pound penalty for dead fish. You have a short fish, you lose your big fish. If you are not at the ramp at the given time, you're DQ'd. No line of sight. Oh, I seen the ramp.
Nope. Right?
It's at the ramp or you're DQ'd.
So our basic tournament rules that apply at most tournaments.
Back to the sportsmanship. I think what really makes this game or makes this program, whatever you want to call it, is the twist. I think the twist is really what steps us up to a different level. Tell me the twist.
A little demented on your part, but you know, at first when you told me about it, I thought, you know, we can't do that, Mike. We can't do that to these guys. I think it's really going to make it tough for them. But you know what? I think your whole idea behind Bustin' Sticks was to make it tough on anglers and to kind of single out who is the best locally here,
exactly.
and see how these guys compete when they're under a little pressure. You know, I've fished tournaments for a lot of years. We always are given plenty of time to pre-fish, and that's not so this way. These guys get a text message at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday night with a lake name, coordinates to get to that lake. This means they're not really sure where these lakes are at, and some of them never even heard of these lakes. You know, they've got 12 hours until 6:30 on Sunday morning when they have to appear to put rods, reels, a program together, look at their lake maps, and try to figure out what they're going to do Sunday morning when they show.
It's a scramble for information.
It is.
That's what it is. It's a scramble for information to make sure you're ready to launch your boat on that lake and beat one person.
You know what?
That's it.
think these guys had this mindset going into this when they were picked to be on the in the matches, that oh, this is nothing. I've done this before. I fish tournaments all the time. This is going to be
fishing,
easy.
yeah.
But when that text message came through, according to some of them, that's when the game really started.
You're exactly right. When they got that text, the mental game changed, because they were like, I've never even heard of this lake.
Yeah, now what?
Now what do I do? And then that's when the scramble starts. And I think that's what sets it apart, and that's what steps our anglers up to see who can do what they can and cannot do. You know what, with that, let's meet our anglers. Let's find out what lakes we put them on. We're not going to find out how they did, of course. That's for the other shows. But when we get back, we'll meet the anglers. We'll talk about the lakes a little bit that they were put on, and move on to prizes after that.
Let's do it. All right, we go into this first season with 8 local sticks, 7 of which are busted, and they're going home.
That's right. They get no second chance, no redo, none of this. I can make my points up on the next 2 or 3 tournaments.
There's no points here, is there?
No, it's you hook up.
The point is hook up or shut up, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's see how the anglers are paired up. Okay, first match, Matt Malmquist, Chris Williams in the Graphic Visions Collision on Big Lake. Give me one of them. Who do you like?
You know what? Going into this match, I fished a lot more against Matt Malmquist. I know how Matt fishes. I was pretty anxious to see Matt show up for this match. I was kind of leaning his direction, and then, Chris's attitude just seemed to spark up a little bit with me, and I thought, Chris is a big water guy.
Yep.
I've fished against him quite a bit on big water. Matt as well. More so with Chris on big water in the past. And I kind of picked Chris because, in my eyes, he was going to be the underdog going into this match.
I went the opposite. I went with Matt. Inland guy, loves his graph, loves his drop shot. I know the lake that we picked for them has not had a tournament on it in 7-8 years, I think.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I've never really heard anybody talk about the lake. So I thought it was going to come down to pick it apart, get that graph going, slow down. So I went with Matt for that very, very, very reason. Our second match is the Green Oak Golf Carts Big Bass Smackdown. Whole lot of words there. We got Brian McCarter, Mark Getch on my favorite lake, Mesa Day. Of course, everybody. Is that the only lake you fish?
Yeah. Is that the only body of water you know?
Exactly. I love the lake. Who do you like?
You know what? Going into this match, it was kind of interesting for me. I didn't know either of these guys real well. I talked to you a bit about these guys. I know you know them fairly well, and some other people that have known them very well. Thinking about things and what I'd heard about the two anglers, I kind of picked Brian McCarter. I thought his strengths were going to be this style of body of water, and again, not knowing either one of them, I picked Brian McCarter.
And again, I went the opposite. I went with Getch on this one. I fished the lake a lot. I mean, a lot. I live on it. People ask, do you know any other bodies of water to fish? I love the lake. I know how Brian fishes. I know how Mark fishes. What Brian is strong at is there at that lake. You just got to find it. The way Getch fishes, you can catch fish on that lake. So I guess I gave the upper hand to Mark on this particular tournament, just by the way the lake sets up and how the two anglers fish.
Got it.
You know, that was it. Our next match here we go. Now.
the names I struggled with all season.
Exactly.
Right?
Garrett Paquette, Aaron Kushel. They're fishing on Middle Strait in Frank's Darts double out duel.
I've got to tell you right now, going into this match, it was pretty simple for me. Again, I'll revert back to match one, picking Chris as the underdog per se going into that lake, being that he was a big water guy. I'm picking Garrett going into this one. Garrett's a young guy. I talked to him a little bit before the match. He was pretty excited. It was like somebody had spurred him a few times. He was pretty excited going into it. I was excited to watch him fish, being that he's a young guy, and of course that's what the sport's all about. If we don't get our young people into it, then the sport's going to diminish and go away. I was hoping for Garrett, put it that way.
And again, I went the opposite. I had to go. I went with Aaron Kushel.
Do we ever agree?
I don't think so. Garrett is our youngest competitor. At 17, he came in to play our game. And I like the way Garrett does fish, but I had to go with Aaron on this one. Here's why. Aaron's been out of the game 3 or 4 years. He's just now getting back into fishing, or I think he just come back to fishing the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He was a strong competitor before he left. I fished with him quite a bit. I like his style. He tends to beat himself up on occasion, but I thought he'd be able to pull it together and squeak the win out from underneath Garrett, so I went with Aaron on this one. Our last match brings Jeff Elliott and Sean Ford together in the tailor-made charter 8 bells bout on your home lake, Lake Orion.
Lake Orion's known for giant fish. There's some 6-pounders pulled out of that lake quite frequently. Pretty easy for me. Again, not knowing either of these guys, I'm going to use the word intimately.
Okay.
As for lack of better words, you knew both these guys going into this match a little bit better than I did. I've heard a lot about both guys. I have fished against Jeff Elliott before. I watched him fish. He's an extremely fast fisherman. Yeah. I like his style. That's the way I like to fish. I like to fish fast. Although I'm not sure I could quite keep up with Jeff, but watching him fish, Lake Orion is the type of lake that at times, fishing fast, covering a lot of water, you can really put a program together. And let's face it, that's the name of this game. You got 4 hours to catch those 5 fish. I picked Jeff Elliott going into this match.
I put Jeff and Sean together. Now you can call this cynical of me if you want. I put them together for a reason. Here's why.
So you tell me this was set up.
Basically, yeah, I set Jeff and Sean up, okay? And I'll say it. Jeff and Sean fish tournaments together.
Okay.
Some tournaments, they partner up. They also fish against each other. They are very, very highly competitive with each other. They have nicknames for each other. They both like to catch big fish. They both know how to catch big fish. That's why those two got paired up. My lean was towards Jeff. Without a doubt, I had to go with Jeff. I know Jeff a little bit better. I fished with Jeff a little bit. So I was leaning towards Jeff. However, when the day approached and we got to the ramp, and I started looking at the weather, started looking at everything, like you said, Jeff fishes fast. 100, he doesn't know anything slower.
Sure.
I thought Sean would be able to slow down, find some pockets of fish, and fish those pockets and put his limit together. That's what I thought it was going to take off Orion.
And you know what, Mike, like you said, and like I said earlier, sometimes Lake Orion sets up as a lake where covering a lot of water fast can really pay off. Mm-hmm. But I've also seen days out there, and I've fished times with you out there, where you cover 10 foot of water in a 3-hour time.
Right, exactly.
That puts me to sleep. Bad attitude that I have on my part. I think I would rather lose and go home than to fish that style. But sometimes it does take that slowing down. And after, like you said, after getting to the ramp, I talked to Sean Ford a little bit. I was a little nervous about my pick after we got there, but I still stuck with Jeff Elliott.
I leaned away from Jeff and I went with Sean because I really thought Sean would be able to, given the day, slow down. We won't know until we get done with that. What was your favorite lake of all of these?
You know, it's interesting that you say that because there was a lake that we went to that I've never been on before, and that was Middle Straits. And I think it was pretty interesting. Like, I liked the layout of the lake, and I think while we were out there, I told you, dude, I got to come back here and we got to check this lake out.
Yeah, Middle Straits was definitely a fun lake. I think my right hand, Brandy, actually put, what, a 4 in the boat that day?
Yeah, it was 4-pounder on I believe on a topwater bait.
Yeah, topwater popper. So she did really,
right
really
after
well.
I had thrown it for about 15 minutes and didn't catch anything and handed it off to her, and she caught her a good one. So.
Exactly. So it was a good lake, and I'm going to agree with you. I think Middle Straits was probably my favorite lake, too.
We agreed on something.
We agreed on something. All right, when we get back, we're going to take a look at the prize package, fill our coffee cups up, so stay tuned. We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
You know, not a bad prize package for our winner.
Not at all.
They come back the following season to defend their title and only have to fish one match. Nemesis Baits has thrown together a great tackle package, and all of our sponsors have ponied up a lot of swag for our angler to take home with them.
Yes, sir.
They're going to go home with 8 Johnny Morris Carbon Light rods, technique specific, 4 spinning, 4 bait casting, 8 rod gloves for those rods, custom embossed with Bustin' Sticks Champion 2012.
Yes, sir.
Along with 2 rod wraps.
And my favorite, sorry to interrupt, the trophy. You know, we fish all these tournaments and the events, and we collect our trophies, and over the years they've gotten smaller, and I like to call them Bugs Bunny Carnival trophies. You collect 7, you can trade it in for a real one. So we stepped up the trophy a little bit. We have a nice leaded crystal cup with a cherry style base. It's my favorite prize, if you will, that they get to take home is the trophy. It's wicked cool.
I agree with the trophy, Mike. It's a beautiful trophy. Anybody would be proud to put it on their mantle, but I've got to go with the grand prize. A 3-day fly-in trip at KB Lodge in Northern Ontario. And I tell you, you and I have both been there.
Yes, we have.
Everybody I've talked to about KB Lodge that has been there before, the first words out of their mouth is food, food, food.
The food is incredible. Anybody that knows me, has been out to dinner with me, understands I am a food snob. I'm very critical of food that's put on my plate by other people. I don't eat out at a lot of places. Beyond my expectations from an outback, nowhere, fly in, oh my God, I'm lost place.
It's spectacular.
Is unreal.
Absolutely. You know what? Not only is the food just out of this world, they've got unbelievable fishing. The scenery's gorgeous, and they've got some great hunting. They've got duck hunting, they've got moose hunting.
Bear hunting. Okay, real quick. We went up there on a bear trip. You know what? I got to roll this footage for you guys. Here's some footage from KB of the bears that are involved. Real bears in the real woods. Just watch. told you guys there were bears up there, real bears in the real woods.
You know, did I let you down on that trip to KB Lodge?
Far surpassed what you were telling me.
It was very exciting getting you up there in the wilderness. It was, I think that's what made it for me. Both times I've been up there, I've had real close encounters like that. I think this is something great for our angler to take home with them. Actually, not take home, but they're going to go there, and they're going to get the real deal.
Well, you know, Tom and Michelle, fantastic proprietors, just fantastic people up there that run it.
They've got a great crew up there. I think it's something that our anglers really, really going to enjoy.
We can keep talking about it. Let's just show the guys, the viewers, some footage of KB Lodge and what they can expect if they walk away with the grand prize.
Absolutely. Let's take a look. Unbelievable place. You know, Mike, if our viewers are interested in getting into this game and seeing what they can win with Pussy Sticks,
like us on Facebook. We get X amount of likes, we're going to give something away. We get X amount of likes, we're going to give something away. We get 1,000 likes, they get a day on Lake St. Clair with you during catch and release season.
You know what? I think that's going to be a pretty awesome day on the water for me. Not so sure how our viewers are going to think about me when they go home that day, but you know, we're going to catch a lot of fish.
We're also going to put a cameraman in the boat.
A cameraman in the boat.
Yep. So
that'll be a good time.
We're going to kick off our next show. We start our matches. Our first match, Matt Malmquist, Chris Williams, Graphic Visions, Collision on Big Lake. Actually starts kicking off our match episodes.
I think it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully our viewers keep that pot of coffee brewing, and until then, hook up or shut up.
This is a Brandy Rocks production.